Drive-by movies, you're watching
fresh releases.
My name's Blaze.
And my name is James.
And this week we're talking Hulu's latest original film, No One Will Save You.
Coming off our recent screen scuffle where we battled between Signs and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, we have like a weird baby of the two movies. This week, No One Will Save You is about an exiled, anxiety-ridden homebody, and she must battle an alien who's found its way into her home. So this is a movie that I just found out about literally 2 weeks ago. I saw the trailer and Hulu busted it out. Everyone on Letterboxd has been raving it. It was our turn to check it out. Blaze, what are your initial thoughts?
So Hulu, the premier spot for movies, theater camp, and now this, of course. It's just coming out with banger after banger. It just sucks that they're on Hulu because Hulu is the worst place to ever watch a feature film. It is horrible experience. And honestly, I'm glad that my Hulu is going to be canceled after reviewing this movie because I don't really even ever want to watch a movie on Hulu again. It's honestly torture. Between the ads coming in at just random moments in the middle of a scene that's trying to build tension, and also the leveling of the ads being so exponentially higher, and I got Maddie Matheson from The Bear just screaming at me. First, let's prep the meat! Just get that out of here, man. I'm sure he does a great job in The Bear, but stop ruining my No One Will Save You experience with some BS ads for more Hulu. Get out of here.
In my experience with Hulu, also I remember is that ads are just super loud compared to the movie. I live alone. My movies I usually put pretty loud, and then it's just a shocking revelation when the commercials come up. Was that the case for you? I was actually able to watch this without commercials, but what was your situation?
So No One Will Save You does two things that I'm sort of constantly disliking about movies in this day and age. The dark scenes are all shot for a theater environment, which I don't always have at home. I can't just always, string every curtain closed and turn off every light and any reflection from any mirrors or my front door, that just happen to be hitting my TV screen. I can't always dispel all of those things. But then also, the sound, I had to crank this one up just to get normal sound. It's clearly mixed for a theater. This was made for a theater. It just sucks that Hulu, we should be going back into it and remixing this for, a television set, not just, Atmos 5.1 digital surround sound. I don't always have that at home. So, I got a nice sound bar, but hey, I still got to crank this thing up. And then, like I said, the commercials drop in and they're loud. Got no beef, so f*** me! I know we both watched Theater Camp and this, and we're probably both recommending these movies, but Hulu is just not the place to watch them.
Unless you pay for the expensive stuff. Luckily, I'm not. I was blessed and have a code. Thank you, girlfriend. But yes, so now I don't have to watch stuff with commercials for Hulu, but just also, all I'm really gonna watch is just Hulu Premiere movies right now, and just this is a movie that I did want to check out. I'm glad that you were down to watch. I'm sorry that your experience wasn't that great, and I assume also the commercials kind of cut in kind of serious moments because this movie is pretty intense. Right from the get-go, there's only really just 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of setup. And some of the creepiest alien sequences, in a long time that I've seen, since Signs, I'd say. But my main problem with the movie is, overall, I enjoyed it, and I do recommend checking out. It's different, it's cool. Not wholly original, but it just feels different compared to what we've gotten over the last couple of years. This is what I expected Nope to be when we saw it last year. Granted, I love Nope, but for different reasons. But this is a movie that I've been craving to see for a while. But overall, I'd say my main problem with the movie is there's a little too much revealed, like same problems with like Insidious and other movies we brought up recently, where just like you have a good thing and you're just making it less scary by showing a little too much at times. And there are some really cool body horror sequences that like feel reminiscent of The Thing, and just some really cool suspense moments, but just like I wish that certain shots were just like not heavily focused on like the spider alien creature, that were just like required too much CGI heaviness to where I'm like, now I'm not scared anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of agree with you there. For me, the issues with this film, like you said, I'll preface it, I do recommend this film. I thought it was a really fun watch, besides, you know, my commercial problems. But yeah, I thought this film was a fun watch. It's interesting, but for me, my one gripe was I know that one of the, you know, the trivia or fun facts for this film is that they, you know, modeled the aliens after, you know, people's depictions, the people that were abducted's depictions of what they, you know, they perceive the aliens to be. So, you know, we have that classic Roswell alien in this film, but I have to say, I feel like our thoughts about aliens have changed since 1950s. Whether people actually were abducted by these creatures or not, it doesn't matter. I feel like it's more about like our thoughts as a civilization about aliens have changed to be something that are much more, you know, dramatic, different biochemistry, so much going on, to where you have this kind of like almost sanitized version of aliens in this film. You know, like I think now we think of something more along the lines of the xenomorph, or something that's just, you know, has a wholly different biochemistry and everything is so entirely different, where, you know, those original Roswell aliens are similar to us. You know, they look like us, they, you know, have different features, but they're iconic features, of course, but they still, you know, operate more within like an Earth biosphere. And right. Yeah, this film, I felt like at times I was like, whoa, this is like weird to see aliens almost have like the Force and elements like that, but still look in like such an iconic way. It just felt like weirdly, I wouldn't say timeless, but whatever the opposite of that is, it felt very, you know, out of date in a sense, where I'm like what's going on? Why is this alien that looks like it could be related to Yoda have the Force over here?
Right, yeah, like I like the classic look, you can't go wrong with it, but at times, like when they showed too much of it, I was just like, am I watching just a horror version of Paul, the alien movie, voiced by Seth Rogen, and had Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. But like, yeah, just I couldn't get over that intro to the alien. Like I was all for that close up. It was very unsettling of her stabbing the alien with the little like tower piece from her model in the head. That was really like unnerving, seeing that close up of it slowly dying a painful, torturous death. But the shots though beforehand of just like the bald head coming up the stairs, or the close-up of the eye looking through the door, or the reflection of it on the TV was just so much more unnerving. And yeah, I get that logic too, of just like they do have these cool telekinetic powers that we haven't really seen in other movies. And even the tractor beam within this movie is a little unsettling too. And I really like the aspect of them using like, well, at first I thought they were like using human skin and going inside of it, but the movie kind of clarifies towards the end that they aren't. That isn't the case overall. I'm not sure if this movie is open for interpretation too, because I saw the movie as one specific ending, but then I just like, you know, I always like to read a little recap on the movie too, and I was just like, wait, that's not at all what I thought happened at the end of the movie. So I guess we'll get into spoilers, but did the aliens actually take control of her at the end of the movie, or I just assumed
I got an invasion of the body snatchers element. At least that's how I interpreted it. I felt like it was going to be, you know, like the idea that she was having where everything was like perfect was really just what she was thinking while she was probably taken over by, you know, these creatures.
Okay, I just assumed that like I was like, well, the aliens are just going to let her go. And what's it called? And just like they just let her live amongst them because she had like a tortured life or something. That was my interpretation, because, you know, she was hated by everyone in the city, and then she finally found a city where like everyone loves her and she's just happy as can be, and that's why she smiles at the camera. And, you know, that is a pretty unsettling, different ending that I liked overall, except for the fact that just the aliens kind of just felt bad for her and let her go. But overall, I guess from the actual ending is that she did get taken over and that she is technically an alien, just everyone amongsters living this perfect life as aliens, but just in the human form, I guess. I don't know if I was open to either one, but that's just I just wanted to get clarification, your thoughts on it overall.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of along the lines. I like that they had that invasion of the body snatchers element. I mean, that's one of my favorite movies, so I liked seeing that aspect in the movie. But I mean, this film was wrestling with a lot of things that we were kind of already familiar with in a way. Yeah. One thing that I wanted clarification on was the sense that I felt like, what era did this film felt like it was like trying to be timeless, but at the same time it was showing a lot of things from like older elements or older like time periods, but yet there was like shots where there's like a Toyota Prius in it.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean, that missed me. I was just like, okay, what era? Like, why are they trying to make this seem like it's like an older era, but it's just not. When she goes to the town and there's like literally cars that are like modern in it.
Or like we brought up previously in other years, like I don't know if this is technically a Disney produced movie under 20th Century Studios, or if 20th Century Studios made this movie originally and Disney's just dumping it on Hulu. I don't know what the case is. Like, I'm sure the information might be out there. I'd love to chat with some filmmakers about it, on what the situation was with the creation of this movie. But it does feel like overall, it definitely was a script that 20th Century Studios had for a while. And it was probably originally written, like, maybe decades ago. It's the script easily could have been written in the 80s and just like, is adapted for this modern time, just because it took that long to get made, I guess you could say. But yeah, I highly doubt it went in the It Follows route, where like there's cell phones in that movie, but they're all watching 50s things, and then, or wait, no, there were no cell phones in that movie, and they're all watching 50s movies and have old technology, and then out of nowhere there's this weird pamphlet reader thing that's electronic and stuff that's made just for the movie and stuff. So I don't think the movie was going for that kind of direction, but yeah.
Well, yeah, like the clamshell, I think that's what you're mentioning from It Follows, definitely made the film feel timeless, because they were wrestling two things where like this, the cars, just, that's not something. I think with that film there's like something that's futuristic, but we don't really know what it is because we don't have experience with that. We have an iPad, but we've never seen a clamshell type e-reader or something. But this film, it's like cars that I could clearly recognize, like, oh, is that Toyota Prius 2007? Like where, yeah, like this had clear things where then there were elements where like the way that characters are dressing, especially Caitlin Dever, seemed a little bit more old-fashioned. Then you also have the aliens that are 1950s style alien that we're thinking of, or maybe 1960s. I'm not really sure the exact time of that Roswell alien came out, but it felt kind of all over the place with time, and it didn't feel timeless. It just felt like it didn't really know what era or time it wanted to be.
Could also just be like one of the Napoleon Dynamite things, where that movie's modern when it came out, but just it's a small town, so everyone's just kind of behind by like a decade compared to everyone else in terms of style. That could also be the situation, but who knows though. But yeah, I really like the setting, and yeah, it would have been cool if it was kind of filmed more as like a period piece style movie, I guess you can say, to kind of make it feel a little bit more timeless. Like overall, I like that. Yeah, there's hardly any dialogue. This movie can be timeless for the most part, with other than the outdated CGI. Like, because the CGI in the movie isn't like bad, but you can tell that this movie isn't going to age like well compared to like 5 years from now, when CGI just keeps getting better and better. But yeah. Speaking of cars, I can't get over that idiot alien that just couldn't walk. You're a tall, 10 feet tall alien. Why don't you go over the car? Why did you go through the car and get killed by the... it's a cool scene, but just like, come on now.
It's definitely a Prometheus moment. Like, you're telling me you're an alien that traveled, multi-planetary distances, but yet you can't walk over a car. You got to go through it for some reason, even though she's clearly... I think the more the problem is he couldn't back up. Like, why couldn't he just back up? I guess he got his foot stuck through the car, but still it's just, it was funny. It was like that moment of Prometheus, where Charlize Theron is running straight, but there's literally a ship falling right behind her. Ridiculous. But whatever, you got to do it to get the movie done. Something that I did really enjoy about this movie, and I thought was really refreshing was seeing something that really did focus on that gimmick of, oh, there's only be one sentence that's said in this movie. You know, on paper it seems ridiculous. Even after kind of watching the movie, I'm like, it's a little ridiculous, but I enjoyed it. It felt refreshing. Like, it felt refreshing seeing a movie that was essentially a silent movie. You know, there's a bunch of sounds and whatnot, but there's only one line of dialogue that's you know, said in the movie. I think it helped having a character that was kind of a shut-in and doesn't really interact with other characters. Yeah. The scene in the police station, I felt like didn't work, especially if it's people you know. It just felt that scene didn't really make sense. I think it might have actually helped if the character was, you know, maybe had a physical disability in a way, to kind of like the film Hush, where there's a reason for there's no dialogue being said in that movie. But yeah, overall that did feel refreshing, you know, compared to how many movies we get all the time that have, you know, full on dialogue. This felt refreshing, seeing a movie that almost felt like this futuristic science fiction movie that is a silent movie at the same time.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, that was actually another point I wanted to bring up. Like, this movie is basically like Hush meets Signs, essentially, without the religious stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a good time, like, it's the spooky season, this is a great start for movies, because I know, like, there's always movies to look forward to that reach streaming and also in theaters, but none of them I'm really, like, hyped on, I guess you could say, but this is a good start to it, I guess you could say. So really excited to see what else the month is going to bring us. This is a nice start to spooky season, and it's easy to watch. You can check it out through Hulu, so be sure to do that. Great way to help support the shows by watching it and letting us know what you thought about it in the comments below.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
If you can't catch enough of us here on YouTube, be sure to catch all our social media links down below. We got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and we also got our own personal letterbox accounts. That'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.